Thank God for everything. We out here with another one, y'all. This is a presentation attempt at spiders and etc. So we're going to do a prehistorical revision in chronological order using pictures. All praise to the Creator. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for another one. Let's rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus with this one, y'all. Let's go ahead and start. So the title is The Spider because that's where we're going to start at. Most people, ancient and current, would agree that the darkness is where anything ever started. There will be some ghost pictures. Don't worry, I'll let you know. Let's get a minor background music. To hold my stomach growling to a minimum. All right. The Spider, part 1. Like I said, darkness is the beginning of a lot of things, including the universe. And the spider is associated with it. And so that means that there's a very universal occult meaning and symbol of the spider that connects it to the darkness. Now here this dollar bill is said to have shown a spider, and when you fold it, it also shows an archonic gray alien. So there is a connection between the two. Spider, a symbol of mystery and growth. Spiders can also represent the power to construct reality through our decisions. Interesting. So Africa probably got the oldest, or one of the oldest versions of the spider, the Anansi, right? Anansi is a goddess figure, a mother spider figure. The Native Americans also have a mother spider figure. And we see that later on the Greeks and Hollywood themselves picked up a feminine spider imagery to use in their films or their folklore. You know what I mean? So Japan has a strong spider demon concept, the Jorogumo. And it's a folklore in Japan where they pretend to be a beautiful woman to seduce men. Kind of like what people call a Black Widow in America. Here is another in this show of the Jorogumo, but you notice the colors is red, black, and yellow. So Space Ghost from a cartoon from the 80s also got red, black, and yellow, but he got a shadow person on his damn on shirt. So it's going to make my explanation and connection to the spider a little easier when it comes to shadow people in the spider. I won't be showing all my evidence, but it's going to be most of it. So here are images of shadow people, right? They all follow a specific pattern of having light for eyes, kind of like they in a reverse dimension or something. So speaking of dimension, you got the World Wide Web, which technically isn't Bitcoin, but it is. You gotta be online. So it's a lot of compartments you could use with space, right? Where we pay for storage, water, and air when we shouldn't. And so, like I said, the spider deals with the darkness of space. Maybe I didn't say it, but that's what I'm saying. In the beginning, it was darkness. Light came later. Here's this movie called I forgot what it's called, but you see what I'm saying? The eyes are the stars. The darkness is the body itself. And the reason they got red lips and gold teeth is crazy, because that's an Aboriginal original thing, which is, it was kind of like saying a black thing and they got red lips. Come on, yo. They is doing the same thing they do with blackface all the time. But this is a Russian story, so they got less of a filter. Here go images of spiders in movies, Hollywood. The what's the name? Howard the Duck, the Gremlins, and the Matrix movie. Others as well, right? And so here is a art drawn from source from Japan. They say that this is what archons look like, and that it's kind of like a spider, a giant spider. And so in the movie Howard the Duck, the dark overlords were spider-like, and they were coming from another dimension into our realm, cause havoc. Sounds familiar? And so this is an actual photo of creepy crawly crossing the street off in South America. South America got a lot of things, but you know what? This wasn't the first version of that I've seen. So that in itself is creepy. This is a picture. I don't know where it's taken from, but that is pretty much the same thing. And so that's what it looks like. Like this might be like a different version, a smaller version. You don't really see the context. For those who watch paranormal videos, and y'all might, for years, y'all might have remembered this footage of this thing crossing the street and the dog barking at it. And so this is a still picture of, I think, is the same type of thing. A four-legged humanoid that's walking like a spider. And so according to the Secret Society of Japan, the spider people is the name of a people, along with the dragon people, I'll pause this. All right. So according to the Secret Society of Japan, the spider people are with the dragon people, the black dragon people, the dog people. Was it dog people? The fox people. All right. It was a total of 9 different humanoid types that existed before humans, and Zaraz, the god, destroyed them. It's a whole thing. It's a whole different version of the story you get from Japan. But right now, let's go ahead and continue on with this shadow people concept. So we're going to show you a real shadow person. Prepare. It's going to be a real Hat Man picture coming up. By the way, this is Jim Jones. And I wouldn't know why a person that called themselves a rapper would want to call themselves Jim Jones unless his name was really Jim Jones. But other than that, this guy's a scumbag, right? This guy forced thousands of people to kill themselves, maybe 1,000 people, something like that. I forgot how it was. He had a whole commune over in Guyana, and he started off. Let's pause right here. Can we pause? God damn, this shit rushing me, dog. Relax. Fucking-lax, son. I'm sorry. So he had started off in the United States over there in California, and it's really hard for me to explain because I don't see. God damn it, what's going on, man? Listen. We're gonna have to do some. Let's go to animations, transitions. Take the damn timer off, son. Get the fuck out of here. Sorry, y'all. See, I can even argue with inanimate objects and even concepts, but listen, we're going to try to just focus on rebuking the devil, right? And this guy right here represent the devil. This guy right here represent negativity and evil in a lot of ways, and we're going to use him as an example without ever showing his picture again during this presentation. We're going to use him as an example by speaking on it first, and we're going to conquer this shit, and there'll be no reason to even hear about this guy ever again from anyone else about anything during anything. So Jim Jones was pretty much a Hollywood manifestation, a spell casting, spell binding, satanic force against minorities, Latino, Black, just any minority, any melanated people, right? And he basically had a following that was majority was minorities. And he flew them out to Guyana. They wanted to start their own little thing, just like David Koresh. And he told them, he forced them to kill themselves. A lot of people did it willingly, but he basically spirit cooked them to a point where they would commit seemingly willing suicide by drinking the Kool-Aid. And so the term "don't drink the Kool-Aid" comes from this guy and what he done to American citizens in Guyana back in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the 60s. I'm not sure. But the point is, right, is that he did the same thing that the Heaven's Gate cult did with the creators and the boss of those joints being Doe and T. And they all had Nike shoes on, draped with purple cloth, and wore the same shit and committed suicide by pretty much drinking the Kool-Aid. And they was told that they was going to be zapped up in UFOs. It was a UFO cult based with suicide. He'd been around since the 70s. And so they basically, I don't know if the people that set it up is he really even dead. We don't know Jim Jones is dead. We don't know if Biento is dead. But they did create cults that did kind of like convince people to take their own life. And that is demonic, right? That is like manipulating people. And especially if, there is, think about it with the government, an evil government keeping their a demographic of their people ignorant would like be setting the stage for taking this same type of advantage of people. And so the Nation of Islam is the ones who provided these Fruits of Islam bodyguards you see here at the bottom. And so just like how pedophiles didn't say anything negative that came out, did want to see R. Kelly free, right? Stuff like that. Like those type of people is part of this darkness. And so he's using the powers of darkness to like create some type of bonds or soul bond or some type of magic craft. You know what I'm saying? And so in this setup that he got an image of a spider. And so during his meeting and shit, let's go back to the joint where it show all the images of shadow people. Didn't I show that? There it is. So Jim Jones event was down here at the bottom right. You see that? The bottom right is taken at a Jim Jones church meeting is a whole bunch of shadow beings with these dots. Did you see this? They were like the size of little Jawas blinking in the damn audience. And so, man, I think that he was like plotting these spirits. Let's go ahead and expand on it for y'all. Get distracted. He was plotting these spirits on people he was planning to kill. And this is how that spirit cooking shit worked. And that dark craft shit. Like, he plotting to kill these people eventually. And that's why these shadow demons showed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to communicate with that is an ancient concept. So let's go. The darkness is all around. So they're motivated by the darkness in the heavens to be like summoning the darkness from below. So, anyways, let's continue. Right? Darkness can take many shapes. It's like a dark, unformed cloud of something. It's like ether. They call it dark space or dark matter. You can see it in the night sky because of the light that's in the heavens shining behind it. So the word archon is what they use for grays and aliens, right? But to me, I think it has a connection to arachnid. I think arachnid is just I think it just looks so much like it. They add a word and they take out a word. So you got architect, arcane, arcade, archon, our kind. You know what I mean? And so when we look at other depictions of darkness, you see these people like here in England, in Europe, they up here showing that they do fuck with these people. Right? And what type of people they showing? These big chin, big nose people got the ability to fuck with people that be doing this type of thing, whereas they got the craft of their chakras. That give them this power. You know what I mean? They got the ability, they got the craft for real. They up here talking to UFOs. People in UFOs and shit. They into that dumbass shit. So it's like, however a person want to go about it, however they can go about it, they can actually make a manifestation appear through focus and, you know, all this other shit, manipulating earth energies and shit. And so that's why they do it as a group. And so, you know what I'm saying? That darkness is always going to show up from behind. And so these women could have been doing a seance. You know what I'm saying? And when they take these pictures and shit, and we be like, oh, this just happened to be a ghost and shit. Like sometimes it'd be because it's the government taking those pictures. It's the people that's in the secret societies and cults taking those pictures because they are using the camera as an ability to see into another dimension or to see into something coming into this dimension. And so in ancient times, the camera, when it first was made, used to pick up all types of shit in the camera. So you could see ghostly images and things that we can't see with our eyes with the original cameras. Now they done got so many filters to block out what we can't see, that we can't see things both in the physical and when we look at shit in the digital, which kind of, I guess, manipulates our spiritual maneuvering, right? Because our mind's eyes can't see and or see the truth and things like that, and they try to deceive that too. By they don't know what now we don't know BB dead or alive. You know what I'm saying? Justin Bieber and Usher had a fight at the Oscars or the Grammys, whichever one that was, and the Oscars, and they said that, you know, they could say whatever they want, but we already know what it is. They both went to flavor camp and was you know what I mean, manipulated by Diddy as kids. So that's what the story, that's what it's all about. Only these people at TMZ is gonna act like that shit ain't real. They don't know why. You know what I'm saying? If it's some dark, creepy shit, they're gonna hide it, they're gonna cover for it. Like, that's not what real news is. Should be ashamed of they stuff. They act like they don't know why. But whatever, man. The hat man is a concept that people done came up with recently. Like, this shit wasn't going on back in the 80s. They don't want to talk about no damn hat man. There's a few things that have definitely been created after the year 2000, and that's Hat Man, and that's the Slender Man. Those shits weren't really real, but the Hat Man might be a real thing that they just start talking about, I think, because the Hat Man is real. That is some real shit. I've seen a couple pictures, usually with a top hat. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a hat, man. But damn, that's what, and you rarely see anything dealing with minorities and it's paranormal. Like, you rarely see some shit. I think that when you see some minority, like a minority ghost or something, that shit real, son. Because they don't do, that's not in their culture to be faking shit all the time and coming up with hoaxes all the damn time and trying to do that. So that's pretty much, y'all can count that in as being the real deal Holyfield right there. That's a real hat man, dressed in all black. And so we're gonna take it to the cave paintings. Now, who in all black is this person with this horns on? And so that's like the same thing, right? A hat and some horns, a crown, anything on the head. And so what I'm gonna tell y'all now is that when people do devil horn symbolism, it's not going to the bull. It's about the spider. And so in this photo, follow the arrows. One might say, but Red Squid, spiders don't have horns. You're right. But you see it become the mandibles of the spider. Right? And listen, it is horns, spider, mandibles, and whatever else. The point here is that on this ancient rock art, you see a white and you see a black. And what is that? That is the static. So this is not a sidebar. This is a continuation. So when we're talking about static, what do we mean? We mean the black and white. That black and white that we see on pretty much everything dealing with the most basic digital print. From darkness came light. So what is this? Black and white. When people put that black and white on back in the day, that shit, it really did change things. Like, to some people, frequency and shit. To wear black and white in a type of way was creating like the first type of camouflage. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what these beings is. They look three-fingered beings. But they look, you know what I mean? Anyways, the point is that, look, that shit look like it's camouflaging now. They got reptilians, they got some type of camouflage on them like this. You see that? And so that's a fractal of what empty space look like and sound like. So we should know that. That's why they used it. That's why they use it. They're looking at fundamental, elemental, scientific, or basic, you know what I mean? Basic shit. Like, look, they in the static. We in the static. We could all get a picture like this, hang it up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a picture of static. Yeah, but it's not for negativity though. It's not for negativity. Let's like it's an old tradition. Look, they all do it. The Japanese, the Islam. That shit ain't even Islam. It was just like, look, we're gonna call this Islam. A lot of these things are just new ways, new terms, and new ways, new names. Right? They still claiming this shit. Look. Do you see that? Do you see that? Now let's put that down. It's not a sidebar. Check that out. So who got the strongest connection with Japan? Right? Well, we know Japanese words come from Africa. So they got an Edo in Nigeria and an Edo in Japan. So that's that black and white you see in the middle. That's the truest version of that. The oldest version of that. Black and white. Bomb. And so what's that saying? That's saying the medium and the transformation. The shadow within the worm forms the worm, manipulates the worm, changes, you know what I mean? Operate functions, increase the worm mentality, strength and thing, and all this. And so the shadow stare at the worm and I guess take a picture of it in a sense, in a natural form, and then inhabit it and manifest in it and change in it. You know what I mean? And so from what I've seen, when you add that shadow concept with this, what I think is a blood worm phantom concept, you get you the earliest versions of things. Before, you know what I mean? The earliest types. And ever since then, they've been changing up. And that knowledge, the knowledge of that is just an ancient one that people had and had lost because of the way things are in the world. And so we're going to talk about Haiti because Haiti is literally the horns of Anansi, and I'm the only one in the world that had seen it. And so check it. The shape of Haiti, right, is because of its border with the Dominican Republic. But the conspiracy on what actually going on between these two countries is so great that, you know what I mean, it appears to be something that it's not, or something far off. But I had explained it once before sometime. Hispaniola is not the name of the place that the people that was aboriginal to the place had. And those islands in the Caribbean was used as the home places for the royalty and monarchy that ruled over many different parts of the world. And so they didn't know where the Caribbean was, and they didn't know how to get there or where to go once they got there. And so that those islands was cut off to the rest of the world in the way of culture because that's where the royalty was at. And so you also had royalty that spread out over time and to the point to where it was all over the world, where you had these royal families in place of governments over lands. And so today those lands became people. And so now you'll do history and you will hear about how the Alans and the Visigoth and the Vandals are different people, but they're not. Right? They the same people, but they was under a different time. They was under a different government or rulership or whatever like that. And so that's human nature. And once we understand that, we will see perfectly. And Japan has this island called Dejima, and Dejima has a company dealing with optics. And it's red, white, and blue color code, just like Haiti. And so when it comes to, check this out, we got to do this live. This is not deviation. When it comes to, I'm going to be able to go to the internet and get it faster. But wait. Japanese connections. When it comes to what we're looking for is Dejima. Nah, no deviations. This is Japan and that. And I said, when it comes to that camera-ish, it's such a sideways thing for that. No, so it's a, no, let's be straight up in that, right? No, let's just be accurate, right? Let's not guess. Right? So we'll get into that. We'll go on more about that as time progressed, though. But there's a link. Oh yeah, I remember now. I remember now. Yeah. I remember now. What I said. Here we go. So this is a Haitian leader, a depiction of a Haitian leader. And look what we got on there. He got this 8-point star on him, right? So now there's 8 parts to the pyramids, right? Did y'all know that? That when you look at it, the pyramids is really 8 points. That's techniques, and that's even more tech than they were saying it was. So here go the 8-point star in other ways, right? They go to the Sumerians and all that too. Like it's an odd looking, not really odd looking, but look how old it is though. 8 points, 8-point star. And so he got the 8-point star on. He know about all this like that. And so that's the Micmac star. See that? That's the Micmac star. And when you go look up the Micmac flag, This is what you will find. Micmac flag, son. A red cross with a crescent and star. That's wild, ain't it? That's wild, man. I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. They saying that the Islam is a part of this blood sword, which is will say that this is the Orientals with the Europeans against the blacks. See, yeah, and when it comes to rulership, and that would make for a revolt, like Lewis, James Earl Jones, and Conan, right? And so, look, that's the pyramid flattened out, and that's something, right? This was the more. See, this was the. I don't want to call it Islam because it was really hardcore Hebrew Israelite type ish, and they had relabeled it Islam later. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we skip all that. So look at this. This is from Japan, and so they got this right here, and that's why they holding on to it because it was such a ancient relic. You know what I mean? It symbolized an ancient idea and shit. They got the ruby. So look, check it out. Look, she got the same thing, right? And she is Hawaiian. She's a Hawaiian queen. And so, all right, Hawaii had that type of swag. It was like they wasn't trying to let them be something that it was. So look how ancient that shit is. The Americans had this. That show this show you how official them joints was. So them badges is connected to these beings. These beings. And so Lord. So they say that's the star and shit. Look. It's Ishtar, 8-pointed star. Tarot depicts Venus. It's the symbol of Ishtar. So Ishtar riding on this animal, this beast, right? I think I got a picture of that. Let's stay on top. We'll run into it. But that's an ancient symbol you see in Egypt. When they showed in Egypt, it's a insect or it's a scarab beetle over a multi-headed animal. You know what I mean? It's a scarab beetle over a multi-headed, human-headed animal in a lot of depictions. Hold on, let me see if I could just Google it. Let's see where it come up. Ancient Egyptian scarab beetle over beast art. I don't know. Look at all these AI images that came up. Like now just generated. You know, I got a picture of a beetle, but you know what I'm saying? Like that shit was tough, yo. I'm gonna put that back out. I didn't I didn't think it people were receptive to it, but yeah, yo. So the beetle is used over the beast, and now you see as time or as people change, you see these different interpretations as time go on how to talk about these certain things. It's all cosmic. And so this is imperial badges worn by the Emperor of Japan. So the only emperor in the world is an emperor of Japan. And so they'll wear it around their neck and they'll wear it on their self as a badge, and that represent the two stars or the two suns. So the I Ching got 8 sides. You know, the little Nordic Thule society got their overstanding of it. Here goes some probably some Pope like, you know what I mean, pseudo Christians, you know what I mean? The Church of Latter-day Saints. And so yeah, that's the 8-point star right there. And so as we all know, the spider got 8 legs. And that's how you know it's a spider. You know what I mean? Right? And so this got the 2 legs is up, I guess. Shit. 2, you know what I mean? Claws up. So this is an art. They say this is a yeah, it is what it is. It's connected with the earth. Look. So that's look at the horn. There's one short horn, one long horn on this art, just like in this ghost photo. And so look, this right here is showing that the culture of knowing that there's one horn bigger than the other horn is found in different concepts, right? They're talking about uh, mediums, right? Well, mediums of this pattern is showing that it's true and accurate to draw it where one horn is taller and longer than the other one. You see that? And it's connected to this is a phantasm image on the right. This is it's a fantastic, it is what it is. It's, all of these are showing the same thing. How about that? All of these are showing the same thing. And that's just amazing. It's amazing. We should just start with this probably if we do it again. But you see it across the world, and there's Africa and there's the Orient with their own versions of that. And so back to Haiti, right? From America, this is from the United States on the left. This is from the Mediterranean, Middle Eastern type place, like ancient Syria type shit, or something like that. Phoenicia, something like that. Next to that, then there's Haiti, then there's Japan's Jorogumo rendition. And so, all right, so everybody got that type concept. Then where is it where people of color just didn't have that no more? right? That they don't have no more knowledge of that. And so when we find an image that depicts people having a knowledge of that, then where's the rest of the story at, right? And so as you can see, they go Europe and Japan, and they both were having their own version of royal purple colors. But where does the concept of having purple as a royal color start? It starts with people, and that means that people been known that there's a whole different way of living that these people had, and then they tried to lie to people with fake history. As you can see, Yo not only has purple on, but he also got on them royal dots. And so them royal dots mean that he is a royal, you know what I'm saying? And royalty is start with original man, right? So the royal print concept and the black and white concept is the same thing, right? Here is an ancient Mayan artwork showing the man with the black dots. He's a royal. He's a king. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're talking about Haiti and what they had going on, he was an emperor. You know what I'm saying? They go to 8-point star there. So now, right? Now they said, look at those black and white dots. That means he's a king in America. And he got the fasces. If you go to Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln Memorial, and you look, you're gonna find the fasces. The fasces was a cannon, a bundle of sticks tied together, which is like sometimes depicted with an axe. And so that's an ancient meaning. They have a bundle of sticks tied together, right? Ancient weapons. You know what I'm saying? Ancient weapons. And so the art of stick fighting, right, you can find predate all other forms of martial art outside of wrestling and straight up violence or some dumb shit. But when it came to organized martial art styles, stick fighting is one of the earliest. And so to have a bundle of sticks wrapped up, meaning that they went to war in unconventional methods, if you will. And as time went on, you see it got a fire spitting dragon at the end of that bitch. It's like, yo, look, that shit was probably a rifle. You know what I'm saying? And so an ancient American with a giant cannon bazooka and black skin and royal print. It's just, it overturns so much of the false narrative because the royal print, check, there's no doubt about that. And then you got it where it's he's covered in all black, check. They used a black crown on him. All right. And then there go the fasces, check. It's shaped just like a fasces. It's tied, they got the ties on it. That's a fasces, and it's shooting a little cannon at the bottom. Check, like that should all line up. Now, Now this look like something they forgot to burn this shit. they ain't get to it, y'all. They fucked up. Because now we got the evidence. This shit predate everything you see in Asia. This clothes, all that. Check it out. When you do go to Asia, you see he got the dots. Look how they going with it. Look like some shit they just made up, don't it? Like they trying to run their own shit. But or that shit too small for them. Either way, right? Things out there with it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just don't originate with them. Right? Look, this is a Mayan yin yang. And so you think the people in the yin yang, I mean, the people when it come to yin yang, you think the people in China had it first. See, it's like America is the homegrown, China was the synthetic even back then. They're like those people was on some other shit. The shit turned out to be all the way negative for black skinned people, especially black skinned rulers. See, they go to black dots. You see how they show them is very faint. Almost like they ain't trying to say it, but they trying to say it for those that read the signs and symbols and patterns. You see that under this turban is a crown, is a golden crown, and all crowns is by kings, Christian kings. So yeah, it's a concept where the Matamoros in Mexico is really the invasion, the wars. It was a race war that had happened. And so they assumed the identity. They had set up that they descendants will assume the identity, etc., on the lands. And they improved on the shit, made it like it's theirs and shit. Like in the 70s, and what they call it the 70s, in the 60s and 70s, they was like, they was building a lot of roads and shit. Look at this. This is Freemasonic rituals. What the fuck you think that is? Fire flames or royal black droplets? Right? And so you got to sit there. See, I could, you know what I mean? I'm glad I ain't tried none of that shit. They would have had this something. I mean, it would have been some. Man. No trust whatsoever. Fuck no, son. What? Like if you try to peek, motherfucker. But nah, for real though. I mean, shit. Like if he get up, he stabs. Oh man, y'all tripping. They tripping, son. So I'm saying that what they saying is that they at war with black people with this shit. You know what I'm saying? They at war with them black dots. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit meant royalty. So they was going to be against that shit. Look at black dots. That's that. They against who? They against these people. And so what these people was, they represented a royal family that stretched across the world. Yeah, stretched across the world. And there's no excuse for people not having this knowledge and what the connection is of people acting like they different. And so who in the place? It'd be a pale skin redhead in the place. Right? And so that shit is fake. That shit is straight up fake, man. Look. How would these people not know each other if they doing the same shit? Oh man, let's just leave it here for a second. And she beautiful. I mean, listen, man, no disrespect, but isn't it beautiful that we've been able to bring it to this level and say, look, Hawaii was a royal place, a special place in the world before the war. Because the Pacific Island, it ain't easy to navigate and get out there and get some stories or some research and come back. Like it was so tied in. It was so tied in, I think. It was so tied in that people just didn't even know what was going on. Look, this is the Hawaiian coat of arms. The Hawaiian coat of arms. Look at it. It got the static, black bar, white bar, black bar, white bar. They knew that was real. It got the crown, same crown covered by that turban in Matamoros. And then, you know what I mean? You see the guy, squatter man, right? And they got the black and white flags. Like they know, oh man, look at that. They know all about the static, right? So people in India was wearing this too. This white diaper shit is some type of seafaring symbol. The blue and the gold is found all the way in Egypt with the royal art. They associate blue and gold. Look, look. See that? That means he's king. Because he got the black and white on like that. Excuse me. So this is supposed to be King James, right? He got the royal prince on. This is what they say. That's King James, right? The one who authorized the Bible, the one who came out with the book of demonology, the one related to the House of Stewart, the one that's, you know what I'm saying, related to the slave trade and they dealings with the Royal African Company, in which they show a blue elephant. The blue elephant represent. I wonder if I got that right here. There it is, blue elephant. The blue elephant was ruled by King James from England way, but it was like this is Africa's efforts in the slave trade. And so when Africans was putting in the effort with the slave trade in cahoots with them people from Europe, they came through this Royal African Company, right? Like how they got the Royal East Indian Company and the Royal Dutch Company, stuff like that. So here it is where the only blue people for real is this meatball, blue elephant. And so the blue elephant represent the people behind the scenes that, you know what I'm saying, I guess they just hyperconnective beings use technology to exist in the airwaves and manipulate the airwaves and things like that. And so they lay back in beds or in chairs, and they're like sensory mediums for concepts. Kind of like if social media and playing a video game, etc., is like a part of like a nature had a natural body or something to it, like a humanoid body type. And so the book of Jasher talks about the separate the fallen angels, and then how certain of the fallen angels had turned into elephants and apes. They created bodies for themselves and combined the elephant DNA with the ape DNA to make it. And so that's what we're looking at. And so they're talking about fallen angels. And so that means this is a fallen angel. This is of those people who's at war with God, who's at war with God in some way, or was, and things like that. And so this is definitely a fallen angel, right? So they got stories of these things called the day rope, but they never make the connection to the American evidence. The Prince Hall Freemasons logo, or the picture of the man being projected, is by the day rope. But we ain't got to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? The concept of the print. It became a hidden situation. Like, look at that shirt. That look like that is a Japanese, it's like what the Japanese wear, or some type of leather. Right? So that's a very high quality top that she got on. And so they want us to believe that things were so primitive, but in actuality, things were so organized. You know what I mean? Look, the royal print is in there. You see that? The dots, black dots. So look how this woman is wearing it, right? Look how this woman is wearing it, and it's like stylish, fashionista type, right? Look, fashion, and got like style. You know what I'm saying? And she got blonde hair, which we can connect to Melanesia. And she got red lips, which we can connect to all the pictures of people of color in the world by all the Gentile nations, including Europe and America. The dark skin and dark lip and red lips is a common feature from Peru, Korea, Tibet, China, India, Europe, America. So we can connect that. That's real. So excuse me. There's a lot of things about this picture that makes it just so unique. And she queen. She a ruler of the world. She ruling the underworld and above the surface world. Like she got the shit together. So this is what they say is the crown jewels that have been kept in the Tower of London since the early 14th century. So the 1300s, these jewels been locked up. And so I think people should look at what happened in 1300s. You know what I mean? I know the 1200s is Genghis Khan and shit like that. And if people believe in Prester John, then that's when they got these joints. This is This is King James shit. King James probably really pressed the John. You know what I'm saying? Like, because all of this is recent. Like, how would this? It's not even on no like real hard surface, I don't think. But that survived. This piece of evidence survived. And look, if this is a picture, if this was a picture of a woman and we saw her like this, then what would we think? That is AI, that is Photoshop. We should make this come to life. Isn't there a thing that we could do to make this shit come to real? And see what that look like. I wonder, we'll see what we could do about that. That would be considered a sidebar. But anyways, man. And so the ancient Micmac language would say that the same symbol for good the ancient Egyptians used, they used as well, and that is what is in her hand. So this is connected to the ancient Micmac people, just like that Micmac star, 8-point star, is connected to the true emperor of the Americas in the world. Because this shows you that Micmac language and ancient Egyptian go back. Ancient Egyptian is pretty old. So where was the Sumerians if the Egyptians was second to Sumerians, which I don't believe, but right, that means that they would have to been already had covered that topic, right, that area. So yeah, man, that's the black and white. Look, they said the Indian queen. When there was a queen of Hindustan, there was never a queen of Hindustan. And don't these look like, who else got people that look like the little coffee Indians, the little tobacco Indians? And so we know who she's talking about. They're talking about Queen Khalifa. She got the lotus flower in her hand, which means that she's the ruler of the world. You see that? That's what the Egyptians use, right? You'll see them holding the lotus in their hand. That lotus represents the whole world, because the whole world grew out of Vishnu's navel and became Brahma. And Brahma is sitting on top of a lotus flower. So that's what that is. And so let's get back to this part of it, right? Where now that we see and got a history of royalty for real, when we see these people doing it, they faking it, because the Japanese, they trying to make their hair nappy now. The Japanese, the ones they listen to rap, make their hair afro and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to sing like Whitney Houston and shit. Like, it's all a joke, and then be racist on top of that. So that ain't real. And then so England, that's where the whole King James conspiracy, the whole concept of where English came from, what it mean, who the original people is. And so shit, how do you think an island ruled the world? And Africa was not at the seas, and America was not in the seas, and no maritime. Like, they had the part of the lie. It's like a leprechaun spell that is being unhooked, because we know that if the civilization on the surface of the world existed for so long that there was even a monarchy in England, or rural people living out there that was royal in England, that they would have been there already, like ruled the place to be for a whole long time before Anglo-Saxons came through. in the app and whoever them people is, the vandals. Because vandalizing shit ain't natural. It's some other shit that is out about. Like it's not righteous. And so y'all seen how never mind, I ain't gonna bring that up. So we talking about just the ops, and when it comes to like summoning dark spirits and shit, all three of these people is known for some voodoo shit. You know, be on some of that witchcraft. It was from England that you see this man hanging up out of a window at the royal palace, butt naked, trying to escape, dropping 3 floors down, trying to escape, butt ass naked out of a window at Buckingham Palace, man. Like they said they killed Princess Diana because they didn't want her to run off after doing donuts on the royal family in that whole spotlight. Having Prince Harry outside of wedlock, you know what I mean? Or having Prince Harry as a marital affair. And then, you know what I'm saying? Shit, running off with the Middle Eastern, strike a deal and shit, man. They off Diana. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, shit, they definitely ain't the original. They definitely ain't the original, right? They call themselves the dragon and shit and all this and that, but they definitely is like caught up in a conspiracy, man. But they do witchcraft. Like the girl that escaped being a part of a cult said that they made her have babies for years throughout her life. And all them babies were straight for sacrifices. And then one time she had a baby and she felt like she wanted to keep that baby, and she escaped and ran away with that baby, and then told a story. And she said that she told the whole story about what happened to girls or what happened to people like her or what happened to her, right? And it's like they basically raised this girl to be a sex portion of a ritual, of like a satanic ritual that they would do. And so she was raised in the occult witches or witch coven or some shit like that. And so they basically had her doing sexual shit to adults since she was a child. And they even made her have babies, knowing that the babies was going to be used in a murderous sacrifice. And it's terrible, man. And that's over there in England. Japan, they love demons. They got cartoons of them. Like they were showing demons as soon as they had the ability. They put Godzilla on screen, and then as soon as they had commercials for TVs, for like TV ads and shit, like they had demons in them joints too. So they won with demons and robots. And so where that leave these Haitians? Why these Haitians got on good clothes and swords and jewelry on a checkerboard floor with a golden throne of this emperor wearing the priestly colors of the Levites and the royal prince of monarchy, and be called an emperor, got the 8-point star, but where are they today? So here goes some things going on when it comes to these shadow beings. Because if it's a competition between those places, I wouldn't know. Because I don't dabble in shadow and dark being things. But I seen this footage. And this footage came from one of these paranormal channels. And so somebody had taken this footage of this, I believe was a summoning. And I think maybe that's what some of these outlets on YouTube are, is places where people who have channeling abilities or some type of summoning access concepts could, publish whatever happens on the internet or to the public in a way where it's like it's on YouTube, where it's not public. It'll never catch notoriety. I don't really know what the motivation is between amongst these so-called people in the YouTube that make content and how they get out there. How I get out there. So all I know is that I had came across the content, and if y'all heard me talk about uh, the concept of the green diamond lightning UFO that I had seen back in the 90s on the internet, then the same thing happens here where you hear the fear in the voice of the person who's recording. You trying to get the context by listening. And the only thing I could gather from listening to the audio to this incident is that this kid had somehow called or summoned this dark creature. And I don't know how this kid would have got that information, but he seemed like he was in a third world country or like in an island neighborhood somewhere. He seemed like he was a rich American white male that was under the age of 25, that was probably under the age of 20, but definitely under the age of 22 or 24. Let's say that he was under the age of 24. And he's somewhere outside, seemingly like in the middle of the night. And even though he's in what looked like a public place, is dark, everything looked like it's shut down, like it's like in the middle of the night. And he the only one out there. I want to say it's like he was on a dock somewhere, like a dock community. It looked like he was in a place that was not the United States. Is my point. He sounded like an American United States brat, white boy, whatever, like the totally sheltered kid. But you know what I mean? But he wasn't that sheltered because look, he might have been one of the sons of one of these people that's really involved with some shit. And then so he might have been sneaking around or had come to learn how to do this, or maybe was doing it for the first time. And he summoned this creature right here, man. And so during the video, the person who got the video showing it to the people never turned up the light so that we could see what it looked like. So I did. And when I did, what I found was that this was actually a unique looking creature. It was like a worm with a humanoid face on it. You can see the mouth way down here, and the eyes is way up here. So it got this long face. And so when I first saw it, I thought it was like a gorilla because it looked back and forth, but it was so dark you couldn't really make out where the face was or what it. You could just see a head moving back and forth, but it wasn't a head like we think. Man, that's wild. That's wild. It's like a snake head. It's like a giant dark shadow worm. Humanoid. I don't know what it is, but it seemed to be had summoned. So the kid was like saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. And all this nice. And then he was like, please don't talk so loud. Please don't, please with it. Please, can you not talk so loud and all that? But we can't hear shit. We just hear him. And he's like he's like right next to it, like talking to it, like, oh, I'm sorry. Kind of like he was apologizing for summoning him. So whatever it was, it had a way to communicate. And so I saw this ancient artifact, and I just knew that that's what it is. It's the same thing. And this is from the Father Crespi collection. And so that means that the Father Crespi collection is real. It's real. It's 1,000% true. Because there's no way that they could have made this shit up, because they didn't try to, or then this footage ain't blow up. But I had screenshot it and I lined it up. And so I revealed the same creature that we see here in this ancient artifact from the Americas. And so that makes you want to, you should go get you some Father Crespi photos and look at those. Because what he's doing is he's listening to this thing speak to him, and he's writing it down. You see that? And so that's like channeling and communication with dark spirits. Like, that's the dark spirit. You've seen it here first, Red Squid X. Look, the one right here is the original darkness to the video. And so these two versions are lighting up. This one is the most lit. But this was the original one. Yeah, interesting. Facts Figgity. So yo got the Egyptian clothes on. So that means the world rulers was listening, and they was making these decisions, I guess, or they was taking these notes down from creatures, like they was talking to a genie in a genie bomb. And so this must be the concept of the genie. And when they do things like worship, or it's like summoning, conjuring, that's like these conjuring a genie. And so this should go back to ancient Egypt, and I don't got the pictures, but they go back to ancient Egypt. Let's see if we can find it. All right, that's good. So nah. Yeah, so the ancient Egypt got them rising them up from the ground, just like this. Well, even better. And so it's a concept. We can just get the point, right? It's the horn bringing that we seen a version of. They're trying to summon that concept. And so the Prince Hall got the Darrow, the blue elephant. And then you got the light-skinned dude. So, using stones for prayer is something that we see is a cultural, there's something going on with that. I don't know what it is. It's unusual to me, but there's a lot more connections to the methods, the methods of Judaism and Shinto. Japanese Shinto is like the same. They worship and they prostrate on rocks and stones. So here go Japan doing it. Japan doing it. They trying to summon Nephilim and shit. They trying to summon the giants. See, that's their way of drawing a shadow person. And so, yeah, all right. So the Egyptians doing it. The Europeans doing it. You know, back when there ain't no TVs, man, shit was serious, man. And so when even more importantly, back when they was like creating beings, duh, man, that shit crazy. Once people started able to create a Play-Doh people, and they putting demons in these damn Play-Doh people, man. That shit got crazy. And that's probably how you got it, where you got all the Nephilim are dissimilar. All the fallen angels look different. They look like different races. All the fallen angels like different races. They don't look the same. So here go these worms. They do look the same. And so I still ain't, yeah. We could do that. Let's go ahead and pick that up. We're going to show this pseudo light beam. So here go a picture down in Indonesia. That's possibly one of the biggest caves. That's possibly, I don't know what, that's a cave in, I'd say like Thailand, Cambodia. It's somewhere down there. And when the person was taking the picture, they didn't see this person standing here. So after the picture was developed, you see a person standing there. And so let me show y'all what it looked like when the light turned down, because I had already did this a couple years ago, but let's turn the brightness all the way down. Oh, damn, we can't see. Turn the exposure down. Contrast up. Oh, damn. Huh. All right. So I think that's good. Save as a copy. Let's just run it through the joint real quick. It's another sidebar. So that's what you get. It look like a clown demon with a long nose that stick out to me. But that's how I was looking at it. But I don't know, man. Look, it's a humanoid, but like he got like a clown face, or he got some type of like he a chunky, hefty humanoid, but it look like his nose. Is that his nose? What's this sticking up right there? Like this could be one of those elephant truncated nosed individuals, y'all. But he got these rainbow color effect, which is portal. It's a portalization effect to have the rainbow color spectrum on. And it also look like it's on his face. He got this colorization on his face. It could be like where they get clowns from. It look like he got a gold bow tie right here. And it could be that's where Mickey Mouse got his tie from. I don't know. But this could be the devil. Because this definitely could be false light. He got this white robe on him this could be technology. You know, it could be straight up technology. Now, when we go to this, back in the day when I peeled the colors back even more, this is what I got. And I was like, well, look at his mouth, like it's open. And he got 2 black dots for eyes. That's just like these ancient pictures on the Australian outback evidence. Right. And so I wonder why that was. Like, was he an intelligent silkworm or a glowworm? Could he be a light worm or something like, could he be a type of worm, like a special type of worm? Could he have been created and then just went off and started doing his own thing? Did he make this shit himself? What is it? It's glowing. It could be a glowworm. We don't know what them worms was looking like when they jumped out. They could have been shining and glowing and shit for real. Looking like little people off a Cocoon. All right, maybe that's what explains these strange artworks on the caves. Like maybe they're trying to show what glow and bright look like. Right? Maybe they couldn't explain what glow and bright look like, except for saying, oh shit. It got this halo on it. It's white, bright, white and gold. I see. But definitely like they came up out the damn ground. So when we take it back to this, to that original black and white, that's the cosmic Buddha embracing what people would see as the moon goddess in other cultures. And so it's the moon Saturn matrix, like we had explained before, but we're gonna talk about these worms at this point. We still at the worms, and we gotta speed it up a little bit. So here go the worms, right? Different parts of the world, same thing. And so that's the United States on the right, That's the Scandinavia on the left. That's the United States on the left. That's the United States on the left. I mean, on the right, in both places. Yeah. So the United States got evidence of using worms to create new beings, which you see right here, this black and this white. And so that's that's black and white. It's like it's like saying the God body, the Holy Spirit. It's like saying the union of God, right? And so this could be a third person right here. This would make it the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So you got the black, white, and the red, and so you got like the basic foundations of different type of races that you would get on the surface, which would be the combination of the black and the white making the red. That's why the Venezuelan dictator looked just like the Iraqi dictator. Because they won't, you know what I mean? It should be so. So here's it. These could be the ant people, ancestors. That South Africans said we had a mantis ancestor. So that had been so long ago that what we'll find afterwards would be like a descendant. And so they over here manipulating worms that we see uh documented in Africa, the USA, and Siberia. And so in Siberia, the oldest wooden structure in the world is the Shiger idol totem, which is a wooden situation that you see is exactly what they was doing in Africa as well. It's just older by their standards. They say it's the old wooden artifact in the world. We could trace the wooden technique in the Pacific Islands connected with Africa. So if they had this very good wood carving going on in ancient times, man, that could be a thing. They definitely would. This is where totem poles came from. Like they started doing these in Ethiopia. It's a whole bunch of them. They shaped like penises, but there's like got a face on it, I think. And so it's like uh, those are totem poles. The Washington Monument is, they call it an obelisk, right? Those are totem pole. And so I'm thinking it just mean like new types of something. Because if these all look dissimilar and things, they're like, all right, come from a lab, but they all got this face mask. We see it in Japan, and it's like on these little figurines in Japan, which I don't have right there. So let's just pull up Jomon's statue real quick. So when you look at this, you see like it just got a mask on. He got like some type of face on. It got that mouth open, and it got something going straight to his stomach, like a little sex machine with the 3 fingers and breast out. So I don't know, man. That's looking a little freaky. But the point is that when you look at these joints, even this shit over there got it like what a mouth is like. So it could be that their mouth was always open because you see the demons and the ghosts to be acting like that too. So they could have been trying to get the demons and the ghosts to get up in here. Yo got the dumb ear flaps. That's crazy. And so, however, they come together and they can make these humanoid body types that transform and morph. And so, I think this is where the concept of shapeshifting originate from. And then later on, the insectoids start to do it, and the reptilians start to do it. And so, when a human does it, it's because of one of those ancient genetic codes they got access to. Just like when the AI shows something like this, it's because they have access to AI is a medium that has access to the environment in which we call the spirit realm. And they are making parts of the spirit realm manipulated into responses. You know what I'm saying? And so when people do conjurings, they'll come up with, if they was accurate, they'll come up with the same things the AI does and vice versa. And so look, these are showing that there's 2 different types of people, at least, and that through a portal, they can communicate with one another. This right here is showing there's 3 different types of people, at least. And there's occasions where all 3 of them are in each other's presence. That's interesting. Okay, so this is showing that the Sumerian and that the European Vatican is what they think about the underworld. And so the Vatican released this cross section of the earth back in 2016 or 2017. And what it shows is the surface of the world at the very top. And then it's like these sections of Dante's Inferno. You know what I'm saying? But there's a river of blood down here that empties out into this great Cthulhu creature down at the very bottom, which would be the bottom board. And so I'm not sure if that's ice or snow, but in the Mario Brother game, there was a hidden board called the snowboard. And when you went to the snowboard, it was like you was at the very bottom where it was all white, everything. It was the whiteboard. Everything was white, like as if everything was snow. And then the Lord of the Rings, Gandalf fell down there fighting Balrog, and he fell into this place where it was an open world, and it was nothing but snow everywhere. And he came back as Gandalf the White instead of Gandalf the Gray. And so there's indication that there's an ice board down there somewhere. It's cold, right? But that shit could be a lie because it's so dark down in the earth that the stones are white. And so a person can think that it's a whiteboard because there's no light, right? There's no external light. So all the creatures is pale and they're white, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So the stone is white, the creatures is white, they ain't got no pigment, the plants might not got no pigment, everything is white. Don't that make sense? Anyway, so knowledge of the underworld and relationship between those who cut the trees down is one and the same. And so in scripture, we got it, the book of Enoch tell us that the Lord God told the angels to take the tree down and leave a stump. And now you got people making videos about the mountaintops and mesas that look like tree stumps. And so you have it where back in the days, uh, these subjects may have not been probably more less likely fringe and more like just deep dark secrets of human history, and interpreting what was going on suggests that people had fought or cut their way up. And so according to Native Americans, human race started in the hollow world and came to the surface. Now, if I were to look at this African dude on the right here, I would think that he's saying the same thing. And that the earth is a womb and that original man came up out of there. But I believe that the celestials play a lot of part in the manifestation of anything on the surface or anywhere else. And so because we don't think about the hollow world, we don't even really talk about it much. But here go the symbol for Babylon, and she got a yoni in the middle, right? And so Moni in the middle, talking about her yoni in the middle, what's the chances that that's by accident? And what's the chances that it's really a god or a goddess that is using these wordplay, telling us the truth in our face, but we don't even know, like only in a mocking way. And so we know Hollywood doing that, the education system doing it, academia, mainstream academia is wrought with racist, just trying to get the job done type attitudes. And so here go 3 pictures showing the exact same thing. And so somebody could say red squid, but that's a homunculus. What that got to do with coming out the ground? Well, there was an ancient Egyptian artifact that put me on to the idea that the ancestors went down to the hollow earth to do science experiments. And if Prometheus had any accuracy to it hidden, when they was running from that outbreak, it was like how people was trying to get back to the surface for whatever happened down there. It's possible that they are on a forward march against people on the surface. And that's why they could assume our identities and mingle with us and still don't care, right? Because they'll be children of Satan. And so that's primitive, or that's ancient population control issues in which the population grew faster than the intelligence of the civilizational culture. And so something always come and knock them down and get them out the way. And that's how resets happen. And so what you see on the left is a Siberian artifact that shows the hollow world. It showed the crescent and the moon, or moon and the star, right? A moon and the sun or whatever. And so think about that Micmac flag and how it had the crescent and the star, and then the red sword, the red cross in the middle, because that's exactly what this is. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and put that there. Yeah. Nick. Right. All right. So we're going to go to burnt. All right. So, yeah, there it is. The tall white giants with the furry body hair, clothes, and the sticks and stones originated in the hollow earth. They came on the surface fighting the black man. Don't that make sense? Don't that make sense, man? Don't that make sense? Don't King Kong, according to Hollywood, don't he come from the hollow earth? Ain't there a bunch of monkeys down there and Native Americans? And don't the Native Americans admit they say they come from inside the hollow earth? They say that the Spider Woman showed them the way to the top, and they saw sunlight for the first time. Something like that. Hollow Earth. And so they say that the Olmecs were the first structure building peoples in the Americas. And when you look at the Olmec stela in the center, you see that it's exactly what the ancient Nordics and the ancient Mayan people were saying. And so to say that the Nordics say the same thing that ancient Americans say would give the ancient so-called Nordics some type of ancient history with this land, right? And they could definitely, well, some people can maybe trace themselves back here to America, and they be white also. So white, black, and Asians, all the people of the races of the world in Shem, Ham, Japheth, they all come from Noah, which is America. So what you got with these American artifacts is saying that there's underground pyramids and some connected to other parts of stone that basically uses the whole earth. Like this pyramids is a whole system of pyramids that existed that include underground pyramids. And so here it is, man, where dealing with them people from underground was always dangerous because they all mongrels and monsters and shit, and they all depicted as being negative. And so they wanna, you know what I'm saying? Look, they out here saying that these white Christians was hoping that there wasn't no shit going on with these beast secret societies. Like they got the compass and shit. I mean the square. Compass is square. What is that? That's the square. I don't know what that means though. Is there a compass any other way? Oh, this the compass is the sword in his hand. Unfinished brick side. So they're saying that the Freemasons run the church. I don't know what they're saying. They're saying that the underworld, the underworld mafia run Europe. That makes sense. This picture on the right is from Siberia. So they got the world circle here with the cross in the middle. And they got this shit over here look kind of like some Hebrew lettering. You got a few different type of tall people around. So yeah. The underworld definitely was known about. So why people don't talk about it today? It's because we totally ran by people who's trying to get good points in the eyes of these people by covering it up and hiding it, not addressing it. If you ask AI right now, what's the probabilities this underworld hollow earth, they won't be able to give you no good answer because they can't see the information like we can see it. Right? They lack that part about them. That's why they'll never be able to do without us. Right? And so they spending billions of dollars on AI while the humans suffer. They gotta be lying. They ain't got that much money. You know what I'm saying? Look, they done took these reptilians and threw scans on them. And so you see this shit all the time, man, like in all the movies, man. They'll do some shit like that. That's fine. Look, the two circles, the two suns, knowledge of that. You know what I mean? Knowledge of that. So here go cave painting. I don't know. That just looked the same. It looks simple. I don't know if it's the same thing, but it looks simple. Like, it's just weird looking. Like this particular cave painting is very odd. So this is supposed to be a demon from in Japan on the left. And so it could definitely have a relationship with what we're seeing. And so these things grow out the ground and get human bodies projected, and then they formalize. I'm not sure if that's the same process with these. These are like mud fossils. I mean, they got their heads cut off. Look at this damage at the bottom, like he could have got his shit cut off. Nasty son of bitches. And so it could be a computer, man. It's just a computer. It's like an avatar. It's like a virtual reality machine. And so here it is where they're talking about they go to the top of the earth. That's where our surface world is at. And then here go these creatures with this mask on. Like how you got breasts and a penis and a vagina and the mouth open. They're like little bots. It's like a suit that you see in the Vinca suits. So that's like Darth Vader. Darth Vader always breathing heavy and shit. So we were visiting this phantom ghost spirit. That's the whole picture on the left. And so there's this American artifact that shows this red-eyed stone situation that looked just like that. And so at the same time, on top of his head, it looked like he got blimmies, which can be considered manipulation of worms. Because they look like them little worms off Men in Black that was speaking Spanish and shit. Or like a language that's kind of like Spanish. And so these people is connected to let's see. Let's see. Here. All right. Let's give this one a try. There you go. So here it is. That's the only other time that I seen anybody wearing similar clothes. And so that's clearly a Christian crown, and that's a king or a queen. And when you look at this joint, you see they got similar clothes, different color, and they try to rub the faces off so it don't look like there's black people. But there's black people standing around these little what don't look like black people with no necks. And so there's a whole thing about them being called blimmy, but they riding the goat. So that means that they're like they're a stone eating worm manipulated into a Freemason, a natural stone cutting, stone working slave. Right? Where they had made these slaves to work in the toil and shit like that. And so if there was white giants, they was slaves. Like Jimmy the Cricket was the intelligent to Pinocchio, the giant crazy person. And so the Chinese say their ancestors ain't had no neck, like a blenny. And so we're already in their bushes because they copying things black people do, and they racist. So that means they unnatural. And so that would make sense that all right, so they come from some awkward position. And so according to the American information that we see here in these artifacts and the paranormal, they is in cahoots with some type of dark witchcraft when making these beings. They don't I don't know, man. Because when it's so old, it's like you just be respecting it. But I don't know, man. It's a slippery slope dealing with creating beings. And I think that it can just get crazy, especially if you just make them like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm saying that that's a blood mushroom at the top, that's a ruby at the bottom, and these are all fractals of one another. And so that means that they do got something to do with humanoid life types that originate where there ain't no light, and that's facts figuring. Like especially they mushroom people, then blood, mushroom, and the ruby is the same exact thing. It's just that one is crystallized. And so that means that all of these people is the same thing. They slightly dimensionalized differently, which would put them at the root of their own Magellans. Because the Magellans only happen amongst European descendants. And I don't know what else to tell you besides shit. I don't know, dog. That look like wires to me. It look like wires to me, man. And it's okay, man, because that's what mankind ever wanted to do is make a robot human. It's just that y'all need to chill the fuck out, man. You and them Orientals need to fall back a little bit, man. Focus on some shit humans would do, like help your own people out, some shit like that. Look at that. The shit saying these people out here malfunctioning like a mother trucker, dog. Malfunctioning, acting crazy. They need to be rewired, reprogrammed. Something going on. Like, you need to fix this. There need to be more utopia-like efforts. You know what I mean? So they always talk, whenever they talk about the worm, they talk about the DNA manipulation sciences of their time. And so when you look at Mongolia, they over here claiming the hollow earth, but they ain't got shit else going on in Mongolia. But the sun, moon, and star, the same shit the Nation of Islam got on their shit is the same shit the Mongolians got on their shit. And it's the same shit the colonials put on the Micmac flag. And so that shit is war, son. You're not going to be able to tell me that they ain't come from the ice tundra and that descended from the hollow earth through them ice caves. And then when the flood came, a lot of their ways got knocked down. God sent the archives to wreak havoc on mankind because they turned away from God. So I think I'm going to end it there, man. And we will continue tomorrow. All right, wait a minute. Well, let's not end it there. Let's continue into a couple more slides. And so we talking about the archons and the spider and all this and stuff. And so here go Japan, where they got it to where they women be service elite. They be service. What do you call it? They're like service ladies. But they also associated with the archon and killing, espionage, stealing some information and shit. And so they go, Michael Jackson, he grew up in the occult, father of Freemason into witchcraft, got the pointy eyebrows, raised his kids up with an iron fist and shit. And Michael Jackson was a creep ever since he was young. And so he was doing all the Illuminati eye covering symbols and all of that. And so when he made to the peak, he turned into a geisha. Because when it comes to the ranking of occultism, the Japanese got the top rank, and that's why the Freemasons in the United States is racist white supremacists that don't recognize the Prince Hall Freemasons as real Masons, but they also worship with a Shotokan ninja sword set in respects to Japan and what they got going on, because Japan is the only place in the world there's an emperor, because it used to be Haiti. You know what I'm saying? And so technology, you know what I mean? It used to be black people, but now it's the Japanese as emperor of the world. And so it's just a matter of the Sumero Mikado is the king of the world. And it's a Japanese concept in which the king of the world made new kings of the world by flying around and choosing people to be king. And so that's an ancient Japanese tradition destroyed in the Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombings, but survived. Like most of it was destroyed, but fragments survived, and we were able to understand that the Japanese was always kings of the world ruled by somebody else. Like Japan got all the vocal points, all the ley lines and shit lead into Japan and the shrines that they got out there. Japan was a very important place in the past, right? And I think Japan has something to do with why we don't know about Haiti's place in all of this, or the Aboriginal Americans' place and everything. because something to do with the technology associated with uh, somebody, somebody of another race that just got minorities as we know it cut out. And so I think we could stop there, man. Stop right there. We'll pick up right here. That's 130 slides, 37 slides. Let's see how long it took us. $2:11 and 54 seconds. All right, y'all. Peace. Oh, wait. Shout out to Pixel T with yo, what's up, Queen? Salutes to you. She said many stories of a huge dark entities and portals in Persia, especially with military events. I don't know about that Persia. I never heard it, but I appreciate the 2 cent. You say that with all this shit going on in Iran? I don't know about that. I don't know what you're saying about huge dark entities, but huge dark entities is what I just showed you. Did you see the part where I showed you that I lit up the spot? It was a tall, dark entity. The Pixel T say, so what is the connection between Kabbalah and the Quran? One speaks of jinn and the other golems. I forgot she spelled jinn. That's funny. The Kabbalah and the Quran, what's the difference? Well, the Kabbalah is Hebrew. The Quran is later on down the line. Like the Quran is like the Islam version of things is one of the newest religions in the world. Like the Kabbalah been going on for like thousands of years before the Quran came around. So what Quran is like a blend of Hindustani contortion into some type of ancient Hebrew satanic method that they just became a total different peoples and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they broke off and started scribbling a little differently. And so it's like a person could go off and read all them grimoires Europeans had made. It's just that the Kabbalah in the Quran is like, well, I'll say that the Quran is like a lot of commentary. There's a lot of commentary in Hebrew too, but the Quran is like, I don't know. It goes around Muhammad, and Muhammad represents a stability of leadership in those areas because of his because of the groups that come out of people who believe and don't believe. Like it could have been like that for Jesus Christ, but they had this great distraction that some most say is like created by the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church already existed by the time they were even talking about this and that. And so just go figure, man. It's like the people in Africa ain't doing right. They is mutilating genitals, scarification on their faces, and eating shit raw. And so this same going on in the Middle East. Like the motherfuckers ain't living right. They you know what I mean? They got their own culture and everything. But it's just worthless information because it's made by people who ain't going nowhere but hell. So it don't matter if they got their chakras together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna listen to a pedophile talk to you about chakras? Like, that's a waste of time. But see, that's all they ever did was just exist. outside of the rulership of what was formerly a black surface rulership. So it's kind of like they is breaking fine China, running around and having fun breaking fine China, and that's why they is destroying the environment or trying to attack the environment, cut all the trees down, cause oil. They don't care. They're like, look, man, you gotta get this oil in the ocean, all that type of shit. And they're just distracted. They're like termites that do other things besides wood eating. You know what I mean? Like they'll eat your resource, they'll eat your energy, they'll even eat up your time. You know what I'm saying? But shit. All right. So you said what speaks of Jinn? One speaks of Jinn, the other golems. I'm saying so a golem is a is like a medium, a vessel in which you put a Jinn in. So you might have it where the Kabbalah was the elite and the Quran was the broke people's language. And it kind of work out like that, right? Like the street level in them areas was whatever they was doing. But I don't know, man. It's a conspiracy because it's a lot of it don't make sense why there would be such a different type of people going on in the same area unless it was because God wanted it to be like that. And so God do say that He gonna give the knowledge of He gonna give the blessing to another people because they were so the Hebrews were so ignorant that He was gonna make a prophet come from someone else. And so that's why they get the Prophet Muhammad. They believe that shit is real. And don't nobody really give a fuck at the end of the day. It's like here it is where they causing suffering and none of it is necessary. Like they spending billions of dollars in AI, trillions now. At this point, they done spent trillions of dollars in AI. They ain't fixed a road or a healthcare program or nothing for American people. So they is robbing us as a people, as a nation, as a concept, and they is plotting to go somewhere else and you know live merrily while they leave us in the dumps. Probably is what they plan on doing. And so the Kabbalah is used by these people that's like currently doing that shit. The Quran is used by any mongrel that catch people outside of damn civilized gates. Right? The organized mongrel will be on that Quran shit. Like you go to Southeast Asia and it's the most Muslims down there and it's millions on millions of Muslims in Southeast Asia with flip flops and swim trunks, waiting to go to war for Allah. Tank tops, swimming trunks, and flip flops like they at a beach, but they in the middle of their city, man, frying up banana leaves and goddamn spiders and shit, waiting to go to war with Allah. You know what I'm saying? Waiting to go to war for whatever they. I mean, come on, man. That shit ain't right, son. The devil run the world. Who told that? The Christian, the Bible. The Bible told people what it'd be like, what it's like right now. Don't nobody else got that. What's the point? Don't nobody else got that. Can't even say Christian are not involved because Christ disappeared for 13 years. So I mean, it's like, eh. Where the UFOs at? How many dumbass UFOs we got going on that need to like get the real tune ups, man? Peace and salutes though, man. Shout out to Pixel T with the golems though. Yeah, golems. I don't know, man. That's an ancient concept that I had just showed you golems with the mask on. So the whole concept of DNA manipulation, that shit ancient, man. Do you know how far back it go? It go back to fucking with goddamn eggshells. And I'm cursing a lot because I'm going over my time. But eggshells, like big bird eggs, dinosaur eggs. You know what I'm saying? Doing stuff like that. But I don't know. I would suggest that you find AI and you ask AI the same question that you asked me. But on the short answer is one is Hebrew, the other is Islam. One talks about demon spirits, the other talks about a demon capsule, which is a golem. All right. So I hope I helped you out there. Peace and salutes to all the real.